I woke up this morning, got totally excited like a small kid one day before the birthday, and this can only mean one thing and one thing only, and that is that there is a new Logic update. I still haven't tested yet, but it's really about time to just head over to the studio and go through all of the features, functions, and check everything out. So yeah, welcome to my studio. Before we get into everything that's new with Logic Pro X 10.4, I have to give Apple some credit. Logic Pro X is just working fantastically. I've never ever lost a single project since Logic Pro X. The autosave function is just amazing, always works. Other people are praying to their DAWs to not make it crash and lose anything. With Logic, you just don't have to do these kind of things. First, let's just straight get through the boring stuff. You get 2 new drummers, that's great. 800 new samples and loops, that's also great. New settings for Alchemy for film music. I don't make any film music, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but that's probably also great news if you make film music. Also, something I want to point out is the installation just works really smoothly. No hiccups, no new audio unit scanning, no new passwords or codes you have to enter. It just works as before, plus just the new stuff as it should. I really appreciate that. The first one that excites me personally is that they finally integrated undoing of almost everything that you do within Logic. Previously, if you deleted a MIDI clip, you could just hit Command Z and undo it and redo it, which was great. But this didn't work for the mixer, and for sure didn't work for third-party plugins. Now both of this is integrated. With the third-party plugins, they now just integrated an undo and redo button, which is great. It's kind of a compromise. I think it just isn't technically possible because all of these developers, they just do whatever they want. Also with the mixer, you can just change the faders, the pans, and go into edit, undo, and just undo everything that you did. Also redo it. This way you can try out more things and don't have to worry about it. I very often in the mixing stage just play around with the volumes, trying out to put maybe the guitar in the foreground and the vocals a little bit back, or the other way around, and it's nice to be able to go back to the previous settings, because sometimes you just realize the first one was actually the good one. You can now also listen to loops that are not Apple loops and just listen to them while the project is playing, and they automatically adjust their tempo, so you can listen to them while your project is playing and actually decide if it fits or it doesn't fit before dragging it into your arrangement view. As well as being able to loop them so that this goes on. Previously it just stopped for no reason. And all of that is possible because they integrated now a new tempo feature, so you can go up here where you select the BPM and then just select, come on Logic, and then choose between keep, adapt, or auto. This is adjusting to samples that you drag into Logic. Keep, it keeps the tempo of the project, so if you drag in a sample with 90 BPM, it will be speed up to 120. Adapt is just the other way around, and automatic Logic is kind of deciding for you something that is in between of the sample and the project to get just the best quality possible. So now whenever you drag a loop into Logic, it will then just ask you to analyze it. You hit analyze, this entire file tempo thing is new. It then checks for the BPM, it checks for the downbeats. It almost always nails it, as far as I can tell, especially for drum things where it's easy to detect the tempo. It shows me now right here 125, that's the speed of the loop, 120 of the project. I can divide it by 2, multiply it by 2. It's almost like the things that I know from the Pioneer software, the record box software, to adjust the tempo of tracks that you want to DJ. You pre-do that in the software to make sure that the BPMs and starting points are right. It's nice to see this in Logic. They just copied it from other DAWs, but it's good to have. It definitely speeds up the process. All of this doesn't just apply to loops and samples, it also applies to everything you record into Logic. So you could now just pick a guitar and jam along, record it into Logic without listening to a click, and it will then adjust it to the tempo of the project. I haven't tried it yet. I would still highly advise you to just try to play it in time and listen to a click, but if you have no other choice, it's great to have. Before getting to the really exciting part, all of the new plugins that they integrated for free, which is just amazing. I want to test them out on an actual project, just work on the Not Scared track, see if I can integrate some of the new plugins into it and see how they work and how they perform.
Don't get too close.
I have to say I had so much fun today working with the new plugins. They were all extremely good. I'm just feeling a little sorry for the third-party plugin companies, because Logic is step-by-step integrating things into Logic where you usually had to spend money on other plugins. Now you actually don't. They just copy and integrate everything in there, which is good for beginners. You just need Logic and can basically make any style of music. It's getting more and more versatile, more and more complex and complete, and it's still fairly priced. I mean, like, what is it, like $2.99 or $2.50 or I don't know what it is. I bought it a long time ago, but that's extremely fair. I remember 8 or 10 years ago I bought Logic, was it 6 or 7 for, I don't know, over 1,000 euros. First up, let's start with the 3 new vintage EQs. Just looking at them, you know exactly what they're trying to copy, and they get darn close. I tested them against other bigger companies' clones of these vintage EQs, and it sounds really, really close. I can't compare it to the original, but I wouldn't anyways mind working with the original. Too expensive and too much hustle running the audio through it, and then depending on the temperature in your room, it changes the tone. So I'm really happy with these plugin versions. There is an entirely new reverb plugin called ChromaVerb. At the very top you select the different algorithms. They all sound extremely good. You can set attack, size, density, decay, distant, dry, wet, as you know it from any other reverb. I really love the freeze function. That's always handy to have. You also have the damping EQ. Here you can kind of take away the reverb at certain frequencies. And if you switch to details, you also get an output EQ where you can just EQ the reverb. By the way, something I always advise you to do in every single video that I make about reverb, cut and EQ your reverbs. They will just sound so much better and sit better in the mix. They also redid the entire Space Designer reverb plugin. It's a sample-based reverb, so you can here load the impulse response and get your reverb sound. They have the volume envelope, the filter envelope as they had it before, the output EQ as well. The rest of the settings are pretty much the same. I think they just streamlined the entire look of the plugin to make it fit to the other reverb. As far as I can tell, the sound is still the same, but there was also no need to change it. It was always already good. Then something that is completely new, a complete surprise for me, didn't expect that. 2 new plugins, the step effects and the fat effects. Basically multi-effect units where you can just turn on and off effects. The step effect plugin is, as the name already suggests, the one with the step sequencer at the top. You can here just choose the filter cutoff, a gate or the resonance, and then apply it to certain steps within the song. It reminds me a little bit of one of those sugar bite effect plugins where you just have the step sequencer, or another one is called glitch. We can apply certain effects to certain bars or beats within your song. It's really cool to have, especially for the wilder kinds of electronic music. Both of them let you assign effects to the X and Y so you can control them, maybe in a live environment. You have in the Fat Effects plugin 2 LFOs that you can apply to the filter, so you can get some wobble sounds with it applied to audio, to vocals, or anything else. The Vintage Mellotron is now its own plugin. I never really used it, and I don't think I will use it. I don't really like the sound of it, but if you're into it, it's now available. The Retro Synth got a small update, new filters. To be honest, I don't use it that much because I'm just so in love with the Diva synthesizer, but it's a good one if you're looking for that analog sound. The last 2 major new plugins, Studio Horns and Studio Strings, they sound amazing. They are all sampled, and I think that's a direct attack to the Contact library. I can definitely see them adding over time also guitars and other instruments. The piano would be actually really nice because the one in the EX24 It's really not good. I hope I didn't forget any of the big new updates. I think these were all my favorite. Definitely the new ChromaVerb. Let me know what your favorite is. And if you already downloaded the update, if you haven't, definitely get it right away. It's just so good. So much new stuff for free. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. It's already past 8, heading back home, celebrating. Because today is video number 200, just celebrating it really small with my girlfriend, a romantic dinner, the typical one, as you know. Because the 200 is just like season 2, there's already season 1, 365 videos that I already made, plus the 200. So I actually wait for the next big number. Thanks a lot for being part of this journey. It started like 2 years ago with me stopping making ghost productions, now having my own label, releasing my own music, playing gigs, being on tour. Also, as you know, I'm giving a masterclass at the dance fair in the Netherlands next month. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, and also DJing and some DJ hangover story times, that's the right place. Enjoy the new Logic. If you don't have Logic, if you're using any other DAW, I'm really sorry, because this is really an amazing update. Also, don't forget about the remix competition. As always, the first link in the description. You have a chance to get your remix officially released on my label, as well as getting prizes by Arturia and Native Instruments, and there's also maybe some more coming by Pioneer. Still negotiating. That's it. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the new update. We'll see us tomorrow again, back in the studio.
Baby, don't get too close. I'm gonna break your heart into 1,000 tiny pieces just for fun. Don't get too close.